I spent over $650 on iPhone 17 Pro Max cases so that I could figure out which case is the best for the new iPhone 17 Pro Max. So in this video, we're going to look at all these cases. If you want to jump around, use the timestamps and make sure to check out the links in the description below. Most of these cases come in different colors or different design options, so you want to check that out because I tend to like black cases or gray cases. I'm pretty boring, so if you want to see the other color options that are available, make sure to check out those links in the description. Before we jump in, I want to invite you to check out my Apple Productivity course, which is designed for those of you that are looking to get the most out of your iPhone, iPad, and Mac. If you're struggling how to figure out the best way to use your devices to be the most productive, this course is for you. Check it out in the description below. This is the tech woven case from Apple for the 17 Pro Max, and I have to say I am really digging this case. I wasn't sure what to expect. As far as Apple cases go, I still miss the genuine leather cases of the olden days, but these days Apple is doing things different, and I have to say I do like this case. I think that it maintains the shape and design of the iPhone without adding too much to it. It is a relatively slim case. I do have a screen protector on my phone. Without the screen protector, there'd be a little bit of screen down protection from this case, but personally I think you'd still want to add a screen protector to it, as I did. The case has a little bit of grip to it on the back, which makes it nice. It's not super slippery, so if you tend to have issues with your phone slipping and sliding everywhere, a little bit of grip on the back would be nice. I also really enjoy the Apple logo on the back of the case as well. It doesn't have any more of a raised edge around the plateau than you actually need, which is nice, so it doesn't add a ton of thickness on the phone towards the top, just enough to raise above and keep your cameras protected when your cameras are facing down as well. Overall, a great case. Let's check for magnetic performance. Definitely good magnetic support. We give it the old shake test. It's not going to go anywhere, which is good, and we'll make sure that it does pass through charge, which of course an Apple case is going to do that, so no problem there. So I have to say this isn't my favorite case out of all of the Apple cases across the ages, but as far as the current Apple cases that are available for the 17 Pro Max, I definitely like it. It has a nice look and design to it, and I know it's going to provide good protection and long-term durability as well, because Apple cases tend to stand the test of time. This is the UB Grip case from Supcase, and I have to say I really like the way that it looks, especially with a colored phone showing through the back. It just looks really cool. Of course, this case is designed to add a lot of protection. The UB series cases, especially the UB Pro, adds tons of protection. This is a good kind of intermediary for them as far as the cases go. It adds some grip to the side, which I absolutely love. You can see we've got a ton of added corner protection on this case as well. And we have a kickstand built in, which is great. And it's a magnetic kickstand as well. So if we want to prop our phone up, we could do that both in portrait or landscape. And of course, I can kind of adjust that a little bit, especially more in the portrait view. It has enough tension to kind of give us any angle that we want, which is absolutely great. If we bring out a magnet to attach, it's got good strength there. And if we give it the shake test, of course, because this attaches to the kickstand, there's a little bit of movement there, but it's not leaving the magnet that I'm holding on to. So I'm not afraid of my phone going flying, especially if I have a mount in my vehicle or something like that. I feel pretty secure there. Now let's just check it for wireless charging, because a lot of these thicker cases tend to affect wireless charging. Let's go ahead and attach there. We can see we have wireless charging support. So even in this case that has a lot more protection, a lot thicker of a case, you still get wireless charging, which is great. Now we've got raised edges around the corners here on the camera plateau, which I think is nice. It doesn't add it all the way around, which just seems kind of bulky. They went a little bit more minimal, which I really like. Just the corners, that's all you really need. So this case sits nice and flat without any issues. We do have a capacitive touch button here for the camera control. So if we press that down, activates the camera, and of course zoom and all of that works just fine. No issues there at all. And then the rest of the buttons have a nice tactile feedback. No issues with those buttons, and I like the fact that there's a little bit of a color inlay there to signify the action button. So this case is definitely for those of you that want some added protection to your phone. I think this case does a great job of that without being extremely bulky. I do have a screen protector on my phone already, and there still is a little bit of screen down protection here. So if you didn't have a screen protector, you'd have a ton of space between your phone, not a ton, but enough space between your phone screen and the surface that as long as there wasn't any sizable debris on the table, you'd be fine. But definitely adding a screen protector helps, because taking your phone in and out of your pocket, having your phone anywhere is susceptible to damage, and I think a screen protector is a great investment. So overall, this case, really nice. I think it's a fantastic value. I think it provides a ton of great protection. We even have a port cover down here below, which in an age where we are mostly wireless charging, or at least I'm mostly wireless charging my phone, the port just becomes a place to collect grime and pocket fuzz and all of that stuff. So having it plugged up is absolutely great. Of course, we have all of the openings for the speakers and no issues there as far as anything being covered that we would need access to. I think this is a great rendition of the UB Grip for the iPhone 17 Pro Max. Check out the link in the description below. This is the Commuter series case from Otterbox, and it is a long time tried and true case that they've been making for a long time, especially for the iPhone. This is a go-to case for a lot of people that want added protection on their device, tons of protection around without being extremely bulky. It is a bulkier case compared to a lot of the thin cases that are out there, but it provides great protection and a good grip. It is kind of a two-piece case. There's a rubber inner layer and then an outer protective layer. And what I like about that is that what is actually encasing your phone is something a little bit softer than what a lot of other cases are made out of. And when you get grit or something in there and your hard case and your hard phone have a little piece of grit in there, then you end up having issues with wear even when you have a case on your device. Otterbox has been able to kind of mitigate that with this case just because of the rubber inner. One thing that this type of case is susceptible to, because as you see there is a little bit of give here, is that in and out of your pocket you can collect a bit of fuzz and stuff in this case just because of the nature of its design. But overall, I don't find that to be that big of an issue. I would rather have a softer case on my phone than something that's hard and rigid, as I mentioned earlier. There's good protection around the corners where the rubber meets the harder plastic here on the top and even the bottom. The case does have a port cover on the USB-C, which I think is good because I wirelessly charge most of the time, so keeping that covered means less places for lint and other stuff to grime up inside of my phone. Sufficient openings here for the speaker, and overall the buttons feel really good. They're a little tighter, so good tactile feedback, but they're a little tighter. I like that because it's very easy to accidentally press buttons on your phone. I do have to say one thing that I'm not a fan of on this case is the camera control button. I feel like I have this case on the phone as it's supposed to be. Of course, down here, this kind of got tucked away, but I barely am touching the phone and it's opening up the camera. If I squeeze the phone kind of in this area, I actually didn't even squeeze the phone there and the camera opened up. I think it has to do with the location of the button and the rubber inner portion meeting the outer rigid exterior right over the top of that button. And it is very sensitive. I've taken a little bit of time to really try and move this around and reposition things, and I don't know if it could get much better. It is a little bit of an issue for me with this case over that button because I use this button a lot, and I would hate for my phone to just constantly be opening the camera. As you can see here, I don't know if I could possibly align this any better. Everything looks to be aligned just fine on this case, yet it magically opens the camera all the time because I think the button is actually just getting pressed down, and then any sort of movement just confirms the button press. It just took a picture. There are just some issues here that I don't know could be rectified by repositioning anything. I mean, I have tried repositioning things and everything looks lined up really nicely, but we just end up with issues with that button being pressed just by barely touching the case. So I imagine, you know, your phone going into a recording mode while it's in your pocket and recording hours worth of pocket content. So I'm not 100% sure about this. This case just seems to have issues. Check this out, little movements, and we're zooming and taking pictures and starting recordings and all sorts of stuff. And then I can't even stop the recording because it's actually pressing the button down, and we're just having issues there. So I don't know what to say about the Otterbox Commuter case here with the camera control button, it just doesn't seem to be operating the way that it should. So if this is a case that you really want, you may need to, in fact, disable that button, or perhaps maybe even get out your pocket knife and do some trimming. I'm not too sure what we would need to do in order to make that stop. But right now, I can't see how I wouldn't have the case installed properly, but we're having lots of issues with camera control. So I don't know. I can't really recommend this case at the time just because of the issues here with the camera control button. We'll have to see. I'll definitely be reaching out to Otterbox and letting them know about my experience, but that's why we do these case tests. This is the Armor Grid Kevlar case from Benks in one of the color options that it comes with, including some of the accessories that you can get that come with this case as well. So let's go ahead and just pop this off for a second so that you can see the slim design and nature of this case. It provides its protection via a very thin layer of Kevlar around the phone with cutouts for all of the buttons all the way around the phone, and then of course on the bottom of the phone for your USB-C and your speaker ports. Then you could also install this lanyard connector here between the case and the phone, and then attach the lanyard so that you have a way to kind of carry your phone. And this is pretty strong. I was kind of yanking on this just to see if I could cause any problems. If you're pulling on it the right way, you might be able to pull the case off of the phone. It does provide a ton of support. So I'm not a lanyard guy, but definitely is something to consider if you want another way to hang onto your phone. And the design matches really nice. There's also this magnetic attachment here, which gives you a nice ring, and then also gives you a way to hold on to your phone by sliding a finger through the device and having an extra way to grip your phone. So overall, neat accessories to go along with a nice, clean, simple case. Doesn't add a lot of thickness to the phone, adds protection all the way around the camera plateau, sits nice and flat. Does not have really any screen down protection, so you definitely would want to go with a screen protector. I do have one installed so that you can see what we have left over here. Just a little bit of raised edges here on the corners of the phone. So like I said, definitely a screen protector is going to help. Let's check it for MagSafe compatibility. Yep, we have charging pass-through. Very good. We'll also test it with a little bit stronger of a magnet here. Just want to see what... Oh, it's actually not as strong as I would have thought. So shaking, gonna be okay. Kind of survives the shakedown test, but maybe I should hold on to the lanyard from up here. I'd say it's pretty strong. You definitely can't pull it off of the magnet very easily, but on thinner cases like this, you're not gonna see the mag strength that you would find in a much thicker case. Overall, plenty of magnetic strength for charging. You're not gonna run into too many issues unless you're shaking and bouncing around. So probably not any issues there, but also not the strongest magnets I've seen on a case. There are different design and color options available, so make sure to check out the link in the description below. This is the Hybrid Magnetic case from ESR, and it is a clear silicone case that lets you see the beautiful color of your iPhone 17 Pro Max. Lots of protection all the way around, reinforced edges here with just a little bit more protection in the corners. We've got good tactile button response here, and we have a camera control capacitive pass-through button that has good responsiveness, so no issues there. This case has a little bit of screen down protection. I do have a screen protector installed here, so without one, you'd have a little bit of screen down protection, but if you add the screen protector, definitely is a wise choice. One unique thing about this is the function within the camera guard. You can see that you could pop this open and we have a built-in kickstand, which I think is a neat feature. So you can adjust that down and get different angles when you are in landscape mode. And then of course you could stand the phone up in portrait mode as well. Even though it can teeter a little bit, I'd say it's still sturdy enough, and you can angle that a little bit more. Good and sturdy for viewing content in the portrait mode. So a really neat feature to have here. Let's go ahead and check, because this does add a little bit around the edges. I just want to make sure that we're not seeing a little bit of the edge of that when we go to our ultra wide. Our ultra wide is just fine, no issues there on any of these cameras. So even though we have added functionality around here with the camera guard, protecting the camera cluster and the plateau, they make use of that space by adding in a nice kickstand, which I think is a nice option. And this is pretty sturdy. Not gonna worry about any issues with durability there. Overall, a neat case. Let's check it for magnetic strength. Oh wow, putting the magnet on there, I could barely rotate. It's actually pretty hard to rotate. So let's give it a good shake. We're definitely not going to lose our phone if we're on some rough terrain and we're connected to some sort of bracket magnetically. Let's check it for MagSafe charging support. We are good to go there, no issues. So if you're looking for a clear case, you can see the beautiful design of your phone. I have to say, this one is probably one of the best. Has the added functionality of the kickstand, can see everything nicely. I think the Apple logo Actually kind of looks nice right here in the middle of this design. So good job on the placement overall. I have to say, I'm liking this case. I'm not typically a clear case kind of guy, but with the colors the 17 Pro Max came in this year, I think it's a great option to show off that style. Check out the link in the description below. This is the Miracase for the iPhone 17 Pro Max, and the inside is just super soft. I had to show this to you guys. Then we'll pop the phone in the case and see what we've got. A nice rubberized texture. This case on this phone looks like a robber's mask. I mean, you know, it's pull-on mask. You can see the eyes, the mouth, and that's about it. It provides a ton of protection all the way around the phone. So that's something that you're going for, overall protection, and to make your phone a little bit more inconspicuous, then it's definitely going to do that. I know that some people are a fan of the big camera plateau, but most cases have this entire area cut out. And if that's a little bit too much for you, this is a case that brings you back into that incognito mode for your phone. The buttons on this case feel really good. Nice tactile feedback right through those buttons. And we do have a cover here over the top of the capacitive button. So let's go ahead and press that down. And oh, it works just fine. No issues there at all. Feels just as if there wasn't a button there. Doesn't seem like any sort of accidental clicks or whatnot on that button, as it is covered up completely. So I do kind of like that. We have a cutout area for the port on the bottom and individual cutouts here for the speaker grills. This case is definitely different from most of what I've looked at so far. I do like it. It feels nice. It's nice and smooth without being extremely slippery. Let's test the magnet for strength. We'll go ahead and attach the magnet, and it's got good attachment strength. Not going to worry about things there. If I shake the phone a bit, we're not worrying about it popping off of the magnet, so that's great. Let's check it for wireless charging support. Looks like we have wireless charging, so no issues there. Overall, I do have to say I like this case. Now, it's definitely not going to be the case for you if you want to show off your 17 Pro Max, but if you want to keep things inconspicuous, this case definitely does that. This iPhone 17 Pro Max case from Mous provides very slim protection around all of your phone, cutouts around all of the button areas, and just does not add a lot of thickness to your phone while adding protection, giving you good protection around the plateau. So camera lens protection there, sits nice and flat without any issues, and is very form-fitting all the way around. Now, what I do like about this case is the simple branding, and the design has a little bit of a texture to it, so it feels really good. This case doesn't add a lot, which maintains the feel of the phone, the hand feel. And that's something that cases can tend to change a lot about a phone, especially a phone like this. So while this type of case doesn't provide all phone protection like some of the bigger cases do, it essentially is a very strong skin that provides protection in the areas that are potentially going to be damaged should you drop your phone. You drop your phone, it might hit the corner. This type of material is going to really protect your phone. It's very hard, and so rather getting a dent to your phone, you might get a good scratch in the case, but to me, that's okay. Sacrifice I'm willing to make to protect my phone. Now, it does not add really any screen down protection. I have a screen protector on my phone. I highly recommend adding one because thin cases like this, when you set your phone face down, are not going to provide ample protection against things that might be on the surface, and so a screen protector is a great idea. But what I do love about this case is that it adds protection without changing much of the phone. Even when you look at the front of the phone, you can't really tell that there's a case on it, and that's what I absolutely love about this type of case. Super thin, doesn't change much about the iPhone, doesn't affect any of the functionality of the phone either. Let's check out that magnetic strength. We'll go ahead and add this to the back of the phone. Wow, that is actually strong as far as me trying to turn this and pull this and get it off. This is going to be a really strong magnet. So if you have some sort of a mount in your vehicle, you go off-roading, I wouldn't be too worried about your phone. So the magnet strength in the back of this case is extremely strong. Let's go ahead and add the MagSafe just to check. And yes, we do have charging. And that's good too, even if you have a MagSafe charging dock that you set this on, your phone is not going to slide off of this very easily. That is very sturdy, and it does pop off. It's not impossible to remove your phone from it, but it does add a lot of magnetic strength, which is fantastic. This is a great case, good option for your iPhone 17 Pro Max. This is the Prestige series case from Benks, and this is a Kevlar case, providing a ton of protection to your phone without adding a ton of thickness to it. So you can see here, the side of the case has the design kind of starts and wraps around the back. Benks has a variety of different designs here as far as this series case goes. So if you don't like this color, you can choose from other options. Love the buttons, very simple tactile feedback. Action button has a nice little color inlay there. We also have our lock button on this side and a built-in capacitive button. So let's go ahead and test that. That works and is very responsive to the camera control as we slide through it. I actually really like this. There's a little bit of, I'd say maybe added sensitivity here. So that way it's not so abrupt. It takes a little bit more of sliding your finger. I actually like that. So overall, pretty good there. Protection around the plateau, not too much though. So good protection against those camera lenses coming across tabletops and stuff like that. We have a little bit of screen down protection. I do have a screen protector on the phone, not quite bringing things completely flush. So there's still even a little bit of protection for my screen protector when I would set my phone down on the tabletop. Benks has been making fantastic cases for years, and I definitely use them on a lot of my different devices, even my Android phones. And so a great case, nice designs, adds a nice look and feel to your phone without adding a ton of thickness. I feel like my phone is safe and protected with this case, considering it's built with Kevlar. So while I'm not worried about my phone needing to stop a bullet, I know that if I drop my phone, I'm gonna have good ample protection because of the material that the case is made out of. Let's go ahead and check it for magnetic strength. We'll add the magnet to the back and just give it a test. It seems pretty solid. We'll shake the phone around a bit, not worrying about anything coming loose there. That is a nice strong magnet. Let's check it for MagSafe compatibility with charging, and boom, things are just fine there. So it's going to have good magnetic strength should you have a dock or something like that. You're not going to have to worry about your phone sliding or falling off of that. So the added MagSafe support in the back of the case is definitely also an added benefit. This iPhone 17 Pro Max case from Supfine adds a nice minimal layer around your phone. Of course, this is a silicone case. It has a nice feel to it. It has an opening for the camera control button, and the other buttons have good tactile feedback. Overall, this is a simple case. Not a whole lot here, but I do like the cutout area so we can see through the case a little bit. Nice smoked look to it with the plateau completely opened up and good support around it for protection for those camera lenses. Now we have a little bit of screen down protection on this case. So if we set our phone down on the tabletop, we'll be good to go. I do have a screen protector on my phone that adds a little bit there, which is kind of nice. And there's still just a little bit of raised there so that my screen protector isn't going to be doing all the work when I set my phone screen down. Let's go ahead and check that magnetic strength on the back of the case. Oh my gosh, that is insanely strong. It's actually really hard to rotate this on the back. Like I have to grip it this way. If I have my finger in there and I try and turn it, it actually kind of hurts. It's got such a strong magnet. So when we shake the phone, we're not going to worry about the phone coming off of whatever magnetic support that we are connected to. So let's also check for wireless charging compatibility. Of course, with this size case, I think we're going to be just fine. It's not very thick of a case on the back. But with that magnet, I mean, you're going to be fine charging your phone at any angle. Not going to have to worry about things there, but it does still come detached really easily without too much force, which is great. So wireless charging, very strong magnet in the back of this case. I have to say this magnetic case from Supfine is a great option. It is a more budget-friendly case, so if you're looking for an inexpensive case, this is a great option. Feels good in the hand, and I feel like this case would last quite a while. This is the Diamond Clear case from TAC, and it provides you with a clear, transparent case without adding a ton of thickness. Most of the clear cases that are available are thicker silicone cases. TAC has managed to slim that down and make an extremely thin case that feels nice and strong, that doesn't take away from being able to see the overall design and color choices of your iPhone 17 Pro Max. We've got cutouts for the lock and camera control buttons, as well as cutouts over here as well. We've got ample support and protection around the plateau and the camera lenses, and a cutout for the USB-C and for the speaker grills there on the bottom. So camera control button is easy to get to, doesn't require a whole lot of extra pressure to open that up. I do have a screen protector on right now, so the edges of the case are basically flush with the screen protector. If I didn't have a screen protector on here, I'd have just a little bit of screen down protection, protecting your device from coming in contact with a tabletop should you set your phone screen down. Let's check the magnetic strength. I think we're going to be pretty good here with this case. Rotating, pulling on this a little bit, very strong and supportive. Shaking the phone around a bit, we're not coming loose, so it's got really good magnetic support. You can kind of tell that there are added magnets in the back of this case. Let's check it for wireless charging. And boom, we've got wireless charging support there also, and things feel pretty secure there as well. So if you're looking for a transparent case, this is probably one of the thinnest ones you're going to find. Being able to see the color and the design of your phone without sacrificing a ton of thickness, you can see this case is really thin. It's one of the thinnest I've seen as far as full transparent cases go. So overall, I'm a huge fan of this case. I think it's a great option. Check out the link in the description below. This is the Ridge Carbon case for the iPhone 17 Pro Max, and it is a nice looking case. It feels really good in the hand as well. Has a nice fiber texture on the back with the Ridge branding, protection around the camera plateau on the back of the device with a full cutout. We've got buttons integrated into the case, good tactile feedback in these buttons, so they all feel really good. And we also have a camera control button here, which is super responsive. As you can see, no issues with the performance of that button. So what this case adds is good protection all the way around. We've got just a little bit of screen down protection. I do have a screen protector installed here. With the screen protector and this case, there is a little bit of screen down protection. If you didn't have a screen protector on, you'd have even more space between the two. But nonetheless, I'm still a fan of having a screen protector on, even though this case does provide a little bit of additional screen down protection. Phone still sits nice and flat on the table. I think Ridge did a great job adding a lot of protection without adding a ton of bulk to the phone. Let's check it for magnetic strength. We got the magnet there, and this magnet is pretty strong. I'm not going to be able to shake this phone loose. So as we implement more MagSafe accessories into our life, whether you have one in your vehicle, you're not going to have any issues there with your phone falling off, especially if you have a charger that's MagSafe at an angle. Your phone's not going to slip off of that. It's going to lock in nice and tight. So I think they did a great job with this case. Good implementation of features. Nice, clean, simple design. If you're already a fan of Ridge products, this is definitely one you need to add. Check out the link in the description below. This is the Onyx Clear case from TAC for the iPhone 17 Pro Max, and I really like it. It is an extremely thin case that has transparency to it, but kind of a smoked finish. Darkens things up a little bit and does not add a ton of bulk. Most transparent cases add a lot of bulk to a phone. This one remains relatively thin. We've got cutouts for all of the buttons all the way around and for the ports below, so everything looks good there. We've got protection around the plateau, ample protection there for the lenses of the camera, and with a screen protector installed, which I have here, it is basically flush with the edge of the case. So if you didn't have a screen protector on, you'd have a little bit of screen down protection, but not a lot. So I do highly recommend using a screen protector with this case, but overall, I'm digging the design. Very simple, almost has kind of a Halloween theme to it with the orange and the black. Let's go ahead and check it for magnetic strength. There is another version of this case that is completely clear. So if you're not liking the smoked color, there is a clear version as well. It's a very strong magnet. Not going to worry about the phone sliding or slipping off or even popping off of a MagSafe attachment. Let's just check it for wireless charging. And boom, there we go. We have wireless charging. I have to say, I like this case. I like the more smoked look. Definitely is giving off October vibes. And if you don't want to add a lot of thickness to your phone, but still want a case and want a case that has transparency to it, this is definitely going to be a great option for you. Check out the link in the description below. This iPhone 17 Pro Max case from Mous adds a nice design and texture to your device with good protection all the way around. We've got buttons integrated into the case, nice feedback from those buttons so they feel good. Camera control button, let's go ahead and test that out. Launches really easy. And we have capacitive pass-through here, making it really easy to slide between our different zoom levels or lightly double tap to get into our different camera features. The phone adds a little bit of reinforced protection starting around the edges, so it doesn't add that additional thickness to the phone. So I feel like this is a relatively safe case to be using on your phone because it adds a lot of protection all the way around. We've got just as much of a raised edge as we need to protect the plateau and the camera lenses from screen down, which is good. And we have a little bit of screen down protection on the sides, but it raises up around the top and the bottom of the phone. So that way it doesn't add to the thickness when you're holding onto the phone, but still has added protection screen down. I have a screen protector on this phone. Even with the screen protector installed, compared to other cases, we have a ton of space between the screen and whatever surface we set our phone on. So if you're not a fan of screen protectors, this case is definitely going to be one for you. Of course, I add a screen protector anyways, and even my screen protector is going to have a little bit of screen down protection. Let's check this case for magnetic strength. We'll snap on a magnet onto the back. Decent strength there, not the strongest of all the cases that I've reviewed, reviewed, but definitely is going to be enough. I'm not able to shake the case loose from the back of this magnet, which is great. And then also wireless charging support snaps right into place, and we have wireless charging, so no issues there as well. And good magnetic strength with the MagSafe charger attached to the back of it. So overall, I like this case. It comes in a different variety of colors, so you'll definitely want to check that out. This particular color I think would look best with the blue or silver color options of the phone. I'd definitely be a fan of this case and a black with the orange phone. So let me know what color combination you like down in the comment section, and check out the link in the description to this case. This iPhone 17 Pro Max case is from Pitaka, and it is an ultra slim Aramid fiber case, and it looks really good. I'm really liking this case. I like the cutouts here. A lot of other cases have these kind of weird angles. I'm really digging the way that they decided to go about trimming up this case. I love the transition here off of the phone portion up into the plateau protector, with the transition off of the Aramid fiber into this plastic portion here, which I think looks really good. This case is extremely thin, and I love the Aramid fiber texture and design of the case. It just looks really good. So of course all these buttons are cut out here, including here, but we don't have a cutout for the camera control button. So let's go ahead and test that out and see how responsive it is. Actually is really good. I'm liking it. And one thing that I noticed in the box is that they also provide this spacer that you could put in there. So use only when pin tap is unresponsive to light taps. So should you have any issues here over time, it comes with this little spacer that you can install in between the camera control button. But at this point, I don't know when you would really need that. I mean, this feels really good. It's a nice responsive button. It's responding to taps, and it's not overly sensitive. So I don't know what issues we would potentially have there. I actually kind of like the Pitaka branding right here. Very simple. This is one of the nicest slim fiber type cases that I've seen so far. I'm really liking the design to it. Let's check out the magnetic strength by attaching a magnet to the back. Wow, that is really strong. Not going to worry about the phone coming loose and falling off. Whatever MagSafe attachments or brackets that you might have. Let's check for wireless charging. Wireless charging is working, so no issues there. Definitely going to be a great option if you use a lot of MagSafe type accessories. Overall, I think this case looks great and will definitely function great over time. We don't have any screen down protection here. I do have a screen protector on the phone, which I think is going to be highly necessary with a case like this if you're worried about protecting your screen when you set it down on surfaces. So due to the thin nature of this case, I do highly recommend that you go with a screen protector. But overall, really impressed by the design of this case. I'm really liking it so far. This is the Torras Ostand Q3 Air case, and I am really digging the design. Especially with the orange phone, this case just looks really good. It does come with a set of user replaceable buttons. I love that Torras does this, especially if you want your case to be maybe a little less flashy. You can swap out the orange buttons for the metallic buttons, but on the orange case with the orange buttons and the overall design, I'm just really digging this case. It looks so good, really sporty looking. You can see we've got some added protection around the corners, and you can see some words through there. It's giving me like some Nike shoe vibes. I'm really digging the transitions here with a little bit of grip on both sides. I have to say, this is one of the more stylish cases that I've come across. It also has their magnetic stand, which rotates into different angles, which I absolutely love. So we can go portrait mode and prop the phone up. We can also go landscape mode, and I can rotate this around and get different angles, which I think is great. And then for holding onto your phone, it's also just a great attachment for that. For making sure that you have a good grip on your phone. Of course, we can add magnetic attachments to the back of the phone as well. And it has a super strong magnet on it, so no issues there. If we give it the shake test, it's not going to fall off of whatever MagSafe attachments that you have. Very strong, almost too strong in some instances. Of course, the magnet is part of the actual stand itself, so I think you want to be careful just pulling the magnet off at an angle that doesn't pull and put pressure on the stand. But the stand is really strong as well. I'm not going to be worried about this. I'm never going to have so much pressure up against my phone that it's going to damage the stand. But what I do like about this is that, I mean, you have your MagSafe attached here. I could then pull this and get a little bit of an angle. So pull this off, a little bit of an angle adjustment there, which I think is a great added feature or benefit. If we attach a MagSafe charger to the back, We are getting pass-through for charging, which is absolutely great as well. But overall, I mean, this case just has a neat look to it. It's a very stylish case. Does have a capacitive touch pass-through button for camera control. So let's go ahead and press that and test the button just to make sure that it is responsive. And it's responsive. It just takes a little bit more pressure than I might be used to with others, which is okay. As long as you get used to that, you know it's going to take just a little bit more pressure, but the button works fantastic. So it's just not as sensitive. Some of these other cases can make that button extremely sensitive, making it hard to use the capacitive touch features of the camera control button. Got a little bit of screen down protection. With a screen protector installed, we do still have a little bit of screen down protection, so I'm not going to be worried about my phone when it is sitting on a tabletop like it is here. But all the little features aside, it is an extremely stylish case. I love the transparent corners here, adding a ton of protection with the Air Protect words kind of shining through, giving us those Nike Air vibes. Good protection on the bottom of the case as well. Nice design flares all over this case. I have to say, this is one of the better looking cases that I've ever seen for the iPhone 17 Pro Max. This is the Liquid Air case from Spigen for the iPhone 17 Pro Max, and it provides a ton of protection, including protection over the plateau on the backside of the phone. We've got minimal branding down here. We've got buttons with good tactile feedback all the way around. We have a camera control button here as well. Let's go ahead and press that and give it a test. It is pretty responsive. Let's see how it responds to swipes. Nice responsiveness there as far as the button goes, so no issues with performance there. Doesn't add a ton of thickness to the phone. I love the minimal grip on the side of the case, making the phone just a little bit more tactile to hold onto. We've got a nice pattern on the back of the phone, adding a little bit of grip to the back as well. But one of the most standout features of this phone is just the covering that covers all of the plateau, making your phone maybe a little bit more incognito than it was before, with most of the other cases having complete cutouts for that area. So good protection all the way around that. We have a little bit of screen down protection for this case. I do have a screen protector installed. So even with the screen protector installed, setting my phone down on a tabletop, I'm going to have a little bit of protection there, which is great. I've always been a fan of the Liquid Air series cases from Spigen. Let's go ahead and check for that magnetic strength, attaching a magnetic item to the back of the phone. I'm not feeling a ton of added magnetic support. So for me, this case is lacking a little bit in the area of additional magnetic strength. When you add a case in between the phone, you're losing a little bit of that magnetic connection, and I don't believe that this case has any additional magnets in it, which is definitely making it more slippery. This is not going to pass my normal shake test. Let's go ahead and put the wireless charger on the back. We do have wireless charging support, but this is kind of a loose connection here. So if I'm using a dock at an angle, as I increase that angle, it's actually going to slip. It slipped off and was just sitting on the ridge here of the plateau. So there's not a lot of magnetic support with this case. So that's something to consider. If you don't use MagSafe very often, not going to be a big deal. But if you are a fan of MagSafe, different types of attachments, you might run into issues with this case. This is the SolidX series case from Rhinoshield for the iPhone 17 Pro Max. Adds a ton of protection around the phone without adding a ton of thickness. You can see we've got a bit of screen down protection here, even though I have a screen protector installed. So setting this phone screen down with this case installed, definitely adding a bit of protection there. What I do like is this just subtle design choice right here in the corner. I like this. It just changes things up and adds a little bit of distinctiveness to this particular case without being over the top. We've got good tactile response as far as all of our buttons go. Let's go ahead and check the camera control button. Launches really nicely and has good response as we swipe through the different zoom ranges and just double tap to get into the different camera modes. Definitely working really well. I'm digging this case. It's a very simple looking case and I like that about it. Let's go ahead and check its magnetic performance. We'll snap a magnet onto the back and that is not going anywhere. Your phone is not going to fall off. It's actually a really strong magnet, I have to say. So good job there on that. I could see even just from attaching the magnet once, it did add a little bit of a circle to the back. So maybe over time that might start to build up if you don't wipe it off. We've got wireless charging support, obviously, but good magnetic strength here with the MagSafe charger on the back of the case. So no issues there as far as performance goes. It's fairly simple, doesn't add a lot to your phone, but it definitely adds a lot of protection where it matters most. This is a Clear Series case from Rhinoshield for the iPhone 17 Pro Max. So we can see all of the design of our iPhone 17 Pro Max, including the color choice. There are other options. You can see there is a Jurassic World series case here, and there are a variety of different cases that have different graphics available, so you'll likely be able to find something that you enjoy. I like the design of this case because it doesn't add a ton to the phone while giving us that transparent look and giving us ample protection all the way around. We've got good tactile feedback with the buttons, so no issues there. And we also have a camera control button. So let's go ahead and test that. It feels good and responsive. And as I swipe through the different zoom ranges, I'm liking the responsiveness. Just a light double tap there to get between the different modes. And that is not affecting performance there at all. What I do really like about this case is there's a lot of protection, you can tell, but it doesn't take away from the design aesthetic of the phone. I can see everything there, including my color choice on the device. Let's check it for magnetic strength. Boy, that snapped in nice and tight, and that is a really strong magnetic connection. Definitely not going to fall off of whatever MagSafe type of attachments that you're using. So, wow, that is actually really strong there and still pops off. I mean, probably going to need to slide the phone, well, pretty strong. So if that's a concern for you, this is a great case option. Let's go ahead and check it for wireless charging. That works just fine, snaps right into place. And so if you have one of those docks that holds your phone at an angle, you're definitely not going to have any issues there. Even if it's holding your phone upside down, you're not going to have any issues with it sliding off of the wireless charger. So absolutely fantastic magnet strength there. And like I said, available in some additional options like this Jurassic Park option. And there are a ton of other options available on their website. So make sure to check out the link in the description below. This is the Torres Slim series case for the iPhone 17 Pro Max. A nice, slim, minimal case for your iPhone 17 Pro or Pro Max. There's good tactile feedback with the buttons. Everything works really well here. There's a cutout for your camera control button, making it easily accessible there. We've got minimal Torres branding here. Everything is nice and contoured on this case, not changing the overall feel of holding on to your iPhone 17 Pro Max. Not much as far as screen down protection goes here from the case, so adding a screen protector is a great option should you want to set your phone down on tabletops and not worry about picking up any scratches. We've got good protection all the way around the plateau and camera lenses. Phone still manages to sit nice and flat, no issues there at all. Let's go ahead and check it for magnetic strength. We'll snap a magnet onto the back. I don't know, there isn't a ton of additional magnetic strength here. I think there might be something built into the case, but it's not really enough should you need a good MagSafe support. It's not adding a whole lot of additional magnetic strength. So I wouldn't really trust this should you have like a magnetic mount in your vehicle, a good bump, and your phone's probably going to fall right off. Now, it does have wireless charging support. We are wireless charging. If I hold the phone at a not even quite a 90-degree angle, it slides off. So we're like at a 45 there. As I increase the angle, the phone starts to slip. I could feel it, and then it pops off. So this isn't going to be the case for you if you need additional magnetic strength, but overall, it is a nice slim case, and it feels good in the hand. It doesn't add, like I said, much to the overall phone, so it still feels a lot like holding an iPhone, even though you have a case on it. So there's a couple of things I always test when it comes to case videos, and that is the strength of the MagSafe support on the back of the phone. Well, Rockform has taken things to a whole new level and added an attachment built into the case. So let's go ahead and pop the plug out of this case and put it on the phone. I think this case has a nice looking design to it, definitely adds a ton of protection, and it comes in a couple of options as well. Here is a more solid black fiber look case that they call the rugged, and this is the crystal case. So you can see it adds a ton of protection. I like what they've done with the plateau. If you want a more traditional iPhone look, we've got the cutout right here. Looks just like a traditional iPhone, but we also have a cutout for the flash and the sensor here on the back. We've got good protection all the way around. You can see we've got buttons, so nice tactile support and feedback in those buttons. We also have a button for the camera control, so let's go ahead and test that out for responsiveness. Not having any issues here. Very simple to use, nice feedback. I could lightly double tap to get into the different camera modes. Swiping works really well. Really liking the look and the style of the case. Where this case really shines is that there are Rockform attachments that you can use as well. You can see that this has a ball attachment on it, which means you can use this with like an articulating arm that you might have in your vehicle for a nice solid mount, or on a motorcycle, because I wouldn't trust even the best MagSafe attachments on a motorcycle, where even with a good bump, dislodge your phone is gone, it's bouncing down the road. Whereas something like this, we just simply twist and attach and it locks right into the case, and you're not gonna have any issues there. I can pull and tug and twist on this and my phone is not coming off of the Rockform mount. So to detach, I just simply pull back on this tab and twist, and the phone pops right off of the mount. So super secure mount. Rockform also has other accessories like this magnetic wallet, which snaps right onto the back, has a built-in kickstand, which is absolutely great. But then we also have the wallet support, so I could just pull back on the elastic here. We have the ability to slide some cards in. Nice tapered edges down here, so we could push the cards up and still get them out of the wallet really easily. Of course, we could just detach this and put it in a pocket. It's a nice slim wallet that is magnetic, so we could stick it to something for storage when we're not using it. Overall, really liking that. Let's actually check the magnet support for the case. If we attach the magnet to the back, we've got a really strong MagSafe magnet built into this case, and magnet-wise, it's not going anywhere. So if you don't need this type of attachment, except for when you're on your motorcycle or a bike or something like that, you can still use MagSafe. It's got nice strong magnets. It is a little bit thicker of a case though, so let's check out the wireless charging capability. Let's attach that. Oh wow, we do have wireless charging, even though the back of the case is a little bit thicker because it has to make room for the attachment here, the Rockform attachment. This case is really neat. It adds a lot of functionality and security to our phone. Definitely adds a little bit of thickness to the phone, but not nearly as much as a lot of other cases do that have this type of added functionality. So I think they did a great job here with this particular case. Of course, it comes in additional options should you want a different design or style choice, but have to say, think they did a great job, great implementation here. And if you're not going to be using the attachment for a while, you can add the Rockform plug back in just to keep fuzz and debris from your pocket from getting inside of your case. This is the Thinborne case for the iPhone 17 Pro Max, and it is an extremely thin case, basically just thicker than a skin, but adds a nice look and feel to the phone without adding a ton of thickness. You can see we've got cutouts around all of the buttons, and I like the shape and style of that there. Nothing getting in the way of any of the buttons. From the front of the phone, you can't even really tell that you have a case on it. Does not change the overall feel of the phone, which is great. But minimal cases don't provide a ton of screen down protection. As you can see, we've got the screen protector on the phone. There's definitely nothing protecting your screen from the face down. I could feel the entire screen protector rubbing on the surface of this table. So even without the screen protector, there's not going to be much there at all to protect your phone screen down. So I highly recommend using a screen protector. This case does come with a screen protector, which is fantastic. So combine the screen protector with the ultra slim Thinborne case. I think you're gonna have a nice and minimal experience as far as cases go. Does provide good protection around the corners and sides and for the back side of the phone. So should your phone take a drop, this type of case is going to protect scratches and dents from taking place, especially being that Apple has returned to an aluminum unibody design. And so having protection on the edges of your phone is going to keep your phone from ending up looking like a tin can over time. There's good protection around the plateau on the case as well. So if we put that plateau side down, there's protection for the camera lenses and everything there. So that's definitely nice. But overall, this case is designed to add protection without adding bulk to your phone. And Thinborne continuously delivers in that respect, having this type of case for pretty much all other phones that are available. I know I use this case on a lot of my Android phones. Let's check it for magnetic support, and my gosh, that is a ton of magnetic support on the back of this extremely thin case. There is not going to be any issue with your phone slipping off of anything. I'm giving it a lot more of a shake than normal, and boy, that is not gonna go anywhere. Let's throw the MagSafe charger on the back and make sure that we have charging. Yes, we do. And so the strength of the magnet in this Thinborne case is insane. So if you use a lot of mag-safe accessories, you're absolutely going to love the magnetic strength that this case adds without adding a ton of bulk to your phone. So that's going to do it for my iPhone 17 Pro Max case roundup video. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, give the video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, make sure to check out those links in the description, and if you're interested in becoming more productive with your Apple devices, check out my Ultimate Apple Productivity course linked down in the description below.